All right, Sally, could you just tell me what's going on right now that you're totally passionate about?
Okay. As I have been for years, I'm still really passionate and charged about teaching. Being in the classroom is really an important part of what I do, and it's actually one of the most desired parts of what I do. So after meeting, you know, I could be tired, I could be cranky, but when I cross that threshold, I am in a zone. And in that classroom, my dedication and my purpose is really to help develop very deliberate practitioners, MFT practitioners, social work practitioners, who are good, who know what they're doing, who have definitive purposes for what they're doing. And I think one of the ways to get there is to use dialogue and to use what I call my social constructionist philosophy. It works really well. Because what it does is it allows the integration. It allows me to be, I think, at borders, okay, and crisscrossing or melting borders, actually, and boundaries between things. So I have social workers and marriage and family therapists who are crisscrossing and becoming something that's not really named at this point, as they use skills from both sets. I think good practitioners use research practices and don't really distinguish between them. Maybe they could differentiate, but they're so highly integrated that it just works really well. And so I want to make sure that we can do those kinds of things. And so that allows me to blend my passions of teaching, editing on the qualitative report, using dialogue and conversation as the route to get there.
Great. Do you find this is contagious with your class? Are you teaching the dialogical systems, or is it just implied in your work?
You know, I think that's a really good question, because I think that if I want them to get the ideas, then I'm going to have to do the ideas with them. So we do them. So say, for example, in my undergraduate class in family systems, it was funny because after the first week and a half of class, somebody raised her hand and said, "We don't take notes in here. How do I know if I'm learning anything?" I thought that was just a real interesting comment, because they constantly have to perform on their feet, which is what a practitioner has to do. So everything that we believe in as part of operating from a social constructionist perspective, we're living and doing right there in that classroom.
Exactly.
And the hope is that they'll get practiced at it, and then they'll do it in other places. And I think it is infectious. They usually come back and tell me that they're different.
She didn't know if she was learning, because with the social constructionist system, we don't talk so much about problems. So how do we know if the problems have gone? Because we're not even focusing on them. So that was perfect that she could sense that.
Yeah, but at the end of the class, she really said, "Oh no, I've learned quite a bit," as we all had. So it just works well. Yeah, and it does. It sends me into a zone. I think I apply the same things to my clinical work, you know, or to my research practices. So again, the boundaries get more and more diffuse. And one of the things we're working on at the university now is more interprofessional work. And I think there could be two definitions of interprofessional work. And one is those folks who are already in an established profession but come back to one of our programs that is really grounded in social constructionism and add on a second profession, either to do both or a blended version maybe of the first. Or those who really learn to work in interdisciplinary teams from the get-go. So that's where I am at the moment.